Hello everybody, and thank you for coming back to the channel and to this new chapter on building the Piper Cub and converting it to RC. Now, it hasn't even flown yet, but I've decided to change the motor. So I managed to order a new motor. Here it is, very small one. It's about 17-18 grams, so it's maybe in total it'll be like 20 grams maybe. So it's, I believe, significantly lighter than the one that I currently have, which is, I think, is almost 40 grams. So it's going to be a big change in weight. In terms of power, this is let's see if you can see it, if it focuses. It says BR1407, which I believe is the dimensions, and then it says 3400 kV, which I think is much more than this one. So it might be a much more powerful motor. It might be from a drone or something like that. So I'm a bit worried about too much power, and I don't know exactly how many amps it's going to pull from the ESC. I believe the ESC is for 30 amps, which I'm kind of hoping it's more than enough. Typically 20 is enough, so the 30 amp motor ESC should be enough. But now, to be able to go ahead with a change, what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to take the wing off. That was from the previous chapter where I was putting on the straps. Those are kind of almost done, if not done. And then I'm going to have to make a new adapter plate to replace the motor and to actually put in the new motor somehow in this position. So I need to put in easy, I would say, maybe 10 millimeters thick balsa. Maybe I put also some, I was thinking of to put in some plywood also to make the motor, the propeller, actually be at the level that it needs to be. So a little bit of woodwork there, which is good. I enjoy that. And first thing will be take off the wing. Second thing, take off the motor, and then figure out also how to connect these. For that, I'm probably going to need to go to the shop to buy the banana plugs and solder them, which I always struggle with, but I'm sure I'll overcome it. Finally, some progress on the motor change. I've put it in, but it's not completely fixed. I created a new plate out of plywood. This is plywood, and I've made some holes for ventilation and maybe for the fun of it, because it looks, I made what I think is a nice pattern there. And what I did also, I did a new block here, which is a 9mm balsa, but it cracked when I was trying to put the screws in, and I do have the feeling that it's not in the center. I think you also have that feeling. I think it's okay that it points a bit to the right. That's on purpose, that's by design. I did sand it down on purpose like that, but it should be somehow sitting in the center. So I think I'm going to have to make a new one out of that one, or I was thinking also to use the old one that I have, this from the other engine, and you can't see it because it's not focusing, to use that one and maybe create more of these. I think they're 3mm wide ones. This is a total of 9, this is 3, so I would need maybe another 2 of these, and hopefully that it sits a bit more stable in there. The good thing is that now when I put it down, it doesn't tip over on its nose, not completely. If I push it over, it does. Whereas with other motor, it did actually tip completely over on its nose, again indicating the big weight there. So in any case, a bit of progress there. So now the action is to take it all off and to create another, again, that block, and we'll see how that goes. On another positive note, I did manage to go to the hobby shop. I haven't been there for a long time, and I got the new banana plugs. I took one as a model because these are 3.5mm ones, so I do hope that they do plug into what I have on the ESC. So this, the good thing, it also comes in with some shrink tubing, which is nice. Not that I need it, but it's good to have there. And then another battle is going to be to try to connect all these and solder them to the cable. Maybe just one small thing on the motor, as I've taken it off, to put it onto the plywood brace, I had to make holes here, and these screws did come with the motor, but the other motor did have kind of a metal cross, a metal brace for it. This one didn't, that's why I went with the plywood. So I don't know if you can count the holes, but on this little piece of plywood I have a whole lot of holes in it to connect the motor, and then also to allow for some ventilation. So thought I could just show you this from the other side of the motor. Let's see how I'm mounting it onto the plywood. So I'm here with an update on the motor mount. Unfortunately, I already tested it, but I did not record it. But basically what I've done, I've managed to connect the cables to the banana plugs. This one I messed up because I got some Melton plastic in it. You probably can't see it, but I still managed to clean it enough so that it works. And as I mentioned, I already connected it to the airplane, to the ESC. Let's see if I put, no, you can't see it here, there. And I didn't actually mount the whole motor, but I did test it to make sure that I had the cables in the right order, because it needs to turn the right way. I also did put on the propeller again to make sure that it was turning properly, and I did try it at the full throttle. It has a lot of power, like it almost flew out of my hand, which is a bit scary. So I think this, what is this 3500 kV is probably a huge overkill, which with the torque and everything might be bad for the experiment. But if I manage to keep the throttle at a very low level and control with the rudder, which is on the same control knob, then I might have a chance. So in any case, I would say successful so far. Let's see when it gets to the moment of truth, but successful so far in that I've managed to do all the connections and put it in. So the next step is going to be to somehow mount the engine cowling, make some holes so that the engine sticks out a little bit and that the propeller can fit on there. So time to wrap up the video, and let me show you what I've been spending quite some time. I've put the cowling together. This is the engine cowling, and it's made out of two pieces. The material is kind of a plastic that is a bit strange to work with because it's soft, but at the same time it's a bit brittle, so a little bit difficult to work with. So what I did, I covered it in masking tape, then I joined both halves together with super glue, and then without taking the masking tape, I started to make the hole for the propeller hub, for the axle and the motor. So I went in slowly, a lot of white dust that gets everywhere, but I think now it more or less sits as it should, and the motor spins mostly free. So I just need to think up a way of maybe fixing it. I might just putting a couple of holes in and maybe some screws in there to fix it in place, as ideally it does not need to be removed because the battery will go in from the underside. So ideally, if this is okay, it doesn't need to be removed. I still need to take it off to paint it and things like that, which that will be then another step. I've also got then that little hole for ventilation, kind of like the real thing, and I hope there's enough ventilation going also through the motor hole to cool down the ESC that is sitting right there, right behind. So that's it for this. Then the next step will be probably to hide away the receiver, maybe do a bit on the wheels and start the covering, mounting the tail surfaces. So there's still actually quite a lot to be done. In any case, thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you next time.